Hey, this is the Smart Penny Pincher. Welcome to the channel. Today's video, I'm going to review this Husky 12-volt tire inflator. So inflators like this are great to carry around in your car or truck in the event that you need to remotely pump up your tires, like if you have a flat on the road. And you really don't have a lot of options if you don't carry something like this around. You could get AAA or you could call for help or whatnot, but having one of these in your car is gives you a peace of mind, and I like to carry them at all times. Now Husky makes a couple of different models. They have 120 volt versions and they have 12 volt versions, and so I wanted the 12 volt version because I intend to take it with me. And they also have different pressures that you can buy. This one rates up to 130 psi. They also have some that are down like 80, but I want one that can handle a higher pressure because of this motorhome that I have here. This has load range E-rated tires, which are rated to 3,000 pounds, and it goes up to 80 psi. So I wanted one that had a high psi rating. Now, a few things to keep in mind with these. They're all very slow, and they get hot over time. So you have to bear this in mind when you're taking a look at this or any other that looks like this. Because if you go into reviews and say, man, it got really hot and I couldn't run it and it just took forever, well, they're just slow, so that's to be expected. So if you need something faster at home, then I would recommend you don't get something like this because it's just too small and too slow. I would recommend this only for remote, for taking it with you on the road. Now the unit costs around $50. I'll put a product link in the description below. You can also buy remanufactured ones. I don't recommend that. I'd recommend a new one. So the first thing, you have this cord that is permanently attached, and it's wired directly in there, and it comes with a standard cigarette lighter power outlet adapter. So I'm going to make sure that this is long enough, because what I want to do is I have a 19-foot rig and I want to put it at the car battery and see if it's long enough to go all the way around to the spare tire or even to the tire on the right rear. If it isn't, I'll let you know, and then you would need to buy an extension. So here's the fuse right here, and then it comes with a bag. So if you look in the bag, you've got a spare fuse. It all comes with a needle inflator for like basketballs and soccer balls and things like that. And then it has this tapered adapter, and I believe this is for inflating mattresses. So I don't really have a mattress to test, but that's what it's for. Now for my first test, I'm going to use one of these, and this allows you to connect right to the car battery and have a power adapter outlet. It does not come with this, but I can put a link in the description below. I just find it easier to hook to the battery than to go inside and find a cigarette lighter, and then you have to turn the ignition on and whatnot. And here I can just hook it up to the car battery and be done with it. But it'll work just as well out of the regular adapter inside the vehicle. But for now, I'm going to test it like this. So with one of these, you just plug it in like this, and then just connect this to the positive and negative, and we'll do that next. All right, I'll just put the unit right here. All right. Now let's see if we've got power. Okay, we do. And then the cord, what it does is it wraps around in this little groove right here. Like that, all the way around. Kind of keep that out of the way. That's not bad. But the true test is how well it works. So let's go back to our spare tire and see if they can make this work. Alright, so I stretched this cord out all the way. Like I said, my RV is 19 feet long, and it can only go back to about one of the rear windows. So it looks like this cord is around 15 feet, something like that. And so what I'm going to do is I have a 12-volt power outlet at the rear of the RV, and I'll plug it into that. But this already tells me that if you have a very long truck, a 4x4 and RV, you are going to need an extension. So I will put a link for the extension below. But this one, as it is long enough to do the front two tires easily, but I can't get to the rear. So let's go around and plug it in, and we'll try it from the back. Here I am at the back of the RV, and I want to test it on this tire right here. So open the door, and then up here at the top, I've got a power outlet right there. And even there, with this power outlet, I'm about out of cord. So my first criticism is that the cord is just too short. It works in the front great, but in the back, on a big rig, you're going to have difficulty. But it'll probably work okay in a car, but that's not what I'm going to use it for. Now, if you look at the top, you see that we have a tire pressure gauge. So the first thing I want to do is test the accuracy of the gauge. And for that, I'm going to use a high quality dial indicator, pressure indicator. And let's see how close it gets. I've got 54. Let's see what this reads. Alright, I'm going to zoom in and take a look. And let's see here, I'll zoom in and see if I can get a really good image of this. I'm reading about 52. So it's about 2 pounds off. And let's see if we can pump this up. So we're at about 55. Now this is not an 80 psi tire, so this is a lower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let some air out, and then we'll pump it back to 55 because I don't want to go any higher than this for this particular one. That's why it's on a spares, because it's a lower psi tire. Alright, I've let out quite a bit here. We are at, that's 32. There's 30. And let's see what this is. It's reading at about 30. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it up here. I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to see how long it takes to pump up. So I went from 30 to 55. That would be about 25 pounds. So it's about 5 minutes to 12. Let's see what it does. Alright, that's 20 pounds. That took 5 minutes. Let's check the temperature. Got 138 right there by the hose. Starts to get a little hot. 163 right by the hose. Up on top. Cool, but it's real hot right here. Alright, now let's check in this housing. Well, that's just 101. That's 10 degrees hotter. So right here at the compressor, it is quite a bit hotter. It's been running for about 5 minutes, and it did 20 pounds in 5 minutes. Now I'm not going to go any higher than that. This tire is not rated that high pressure. This one's rated at about 44, so I need to actually let some out. But I think 20 pounds in 5 minutes is not bad at all, and you have to consider the size of the tire. This is a 16-inch tire, and it's also pretty wide, so it has a lot of volume. I think it's 165/75R, something like that. So anyway, that's not too bad. I didn't take it to 0, but I think a typical situation would be when you find a low tire and you need to get to a repair station. So it's just been a couple of minutes, and I can already put my hand on this. And so, sure, they get hot, but all compressors get hot. But I think 20 pounds in 5 minutes isn't bad. So I'm just going to put this back on. Wrap this around. Now, I've read some complaints online saying that if you put a kink in this hose, you're trying to put it back in the original box, it might bend it and damage it. I would say they probably are talking about this right here. I didn't really have any photos of what they're talking about, but I would recommend that you come out gradually and put this in here instead of just smashing it down as hard as it will go, and then put it back in the care bag that it came with, and that way you can preserve this, because some of the people have been saying that this is difficult to replace. You have to take this all apart, and so you want to protect it. But for my purposes, what I bought it for and what I tested it for just now and what I intend to use it for, it works fine. My biggest complaint is the cord length. And in my case, I have a solution, but maybe you don't for your particular situation. And so I would recommend when you get it, plug it in and go to all 4 of your tires in your spare, however that's mounted, like on the back on mine, or maybe it's in the trunk or something, and make sure that you have access to all the tires with the cord. If not, then I would recommend getting an extension cord. And if you want to go right to the battery like I did, then I would get that little adapter that I showed you before. But in this case, I tested it right out of the box as is, and it works fine. So I don't think that 20 pounds in 5 minutes is any kind of a big deal. And I haven't done it from flat, but it just take a little bit longer. But you might want to watch the temperature and make sure that it doesn't get too hot. Works just fine.